Mountains are very, very striking, very, very beautiful to look at, and very, very nice to paint. However, if we don't get that paint breaking right, like Bob Ross used to do, then we're in agony city. This method will teach you how to do it nice and simple. That's what we want, simple painting. Okay, let's have a look at this canvas. So it's an 18 by 24 inch, primed out, stretched out, ready to rock and roll. Okay, and what I've done is taken a little bit of acrylic color, some Payne's gray, some black, some white, and I've mixed it together and made a little bit of a mountainy back color. Okay, and painted it on. So we've got a lighter mountain in the background and a little bit of a darker mountain here in the midground. Okay, that is nice and dry. You could use black gesso if you so wish, black and white gesso mixed together to get a little bit of a lighter color behind. I've got white and I've got blue on these two brushes, and we're just going to paint the top. This is oil paint, this is liquid white up here, and we can hit that up there, and we can hit the blue as well. Okay, and mix them all together. Okay, just like so. Let's make a nice muddy mess, left and right hand, get them in there, very irregular. And what we're going to do is just paint in a nice sky, go over the mountain as well, down to the mountain like you can see there. Okay, no problem. This is a beginner friendly oil painting tutorial. So what we've got is French ultramarine, white, and a little touch of the burnt sienna just mixed in to a little bit of liquid white for the sky. Now don't worry about going over the acrylic mountains. We can easily remove that or wipe it off even with a rag if we so wish. It doesn't really matter at this stage. Now we're going to focus on the distant mountains. Let's load this little palette knife up just like we would normally do on a normal wet on wet painting. Little roll of paint, and we're just going to touch on the canvas, but because the canvas is dry, I mean bone dry, there's no linseed oil or liquid white on there, this gives us a lovely key to get us highlights on. Our highlights are coming from the right hand side, which is usually the case for right-handed people. Now the trick to this little technique is a little and often. Don't be getting a big old roll of paint on a big old palette knife. We just want a tiny bit, little and often, and look at what detail we're creating. Now this is the magic. Just scrape off any excess paint, take a lint-free tissue and just wipe the knife, and then go again, just scrape off the excess paint. That will diffuse the texture and the detail of the faraway mountain, and it will leave you with a beautiful distant mountain. We can even do the same with the shadow side, so a little bit more trickier because you've got to get your knife up in the air to follow the geometric shape of the mountain, but we can put it in there, just a little bit of that pale blue colour, just a tiny bit of that colour, little and often, just same again, and we'll go again. We'll skim off the top layer of paint, and that will diffuse, and it will push that mountain way back in the distance. Here we go, just skim it off. That easy. A light undercoat with the acrylic paint and a zipped off overcoat with the oil paint, and we have pushed that mountain way back, about 20 or 30 miles further back into the composition. Now let's take the brush that we painted the sky with, and we're just going to diffuse the base of this mountain. Just a little bit of mist. We need that mist as a separator between the two plains, the two mountain ranges. Now we can focus on the mid-ground mountain range. I mean, just look at that far mountain. It is pushed far, far back. It's detailed, but not detailed enough. It is paler in colour, which means it is further away. It's all about tricking your eye, you see. So let's start working on this big old mountain. I'm going in first with a shadow colour. I just find that a little bit easier. Now, don't worry about the thinnest of thin films from the sky and the mountain, you know, the misting out of the previous mountain. We can get around that. It doesn't affect this kind of technique at all. Now you may notice that I've changed to the bigger knife because we've got a bigger mountain to paint, and it's a little bit easier to control with a bigger mountain. Now all I'm doing is just putting in little and often again. I'm hitting the palette, I'm picking up a little roll of paint, and I'm going again. I'm not picking up massive wads of paint, just little and often is enough to do what we're doing. Remember, this canvas is really dry. We can do the same with the highlight side with a little bit of titanium white on the large knife. Little and often. Think large shapes, not details. This is one of the most important tips in oil painting for beginners. Start big and refine later. Let the paint stick to the places. Remember, texture is your friend in oil painting. But what we can do is put the paint on and then just take it off with a palette knife. Now you may notice I've added a little bit of burnt umber into that palette mix, and that's just great. That's all we've got on the canvas so far. White, ultramarine, burnt umber. Now you can use phthalo blue if you so wish. It's that simple. All the colours just fuse together. Blue, brown and white for the sky, for the mountains. That easy. Now let's just diffuse the base and we can start begin working on the foreground. Now as we know, every aspect and every element in a painting needs to be on point or else it just won't look right. But to be honest, the midground and the foreground aren't that important in this composition. It's just going to be some go-to material that I'll use. A little bit of a stream, some greenery, some grasses and some trees. That's it. The main focal point of this composition, this oil painting tutorial for beginners, is the mountains, the mountain painting. I want the mountains to work for you. We've got to remember the importance of the acrylic primer or the gesso. We have got a darker colour in the midground and a lighter colour at the background. That's simple. Once that's dry, we can start putting on the oil paint. So just remember, when we come to painting the highlights and the shadows of the mountains with a palette knife, we're going to use little and often. Because we're using little paint and we're using it more often, we don't have to worry about applying too much pressure, which means the paint will break for us. It will work every single time. And if it doesn't, then I will do the painting myself for you. I'm that confident. And just remember this, fellow artists, if we've got no liquid white down on the canvas where the mountains are, and then we're not trying to put on a base colour of oil paint where the mountains are, and then obviously we're not trying to paint any highlights and shadows over that base colour which is over the liquid white, we eliminate the risk of mixing mud. It's that easy. We've taken out and eliminated all hazards and all risks associated with painting mountains in the wet on wet painting method. It will work for you, and trust me, if it doesn't, I will eat my flat cap. And if you want to find out how I paint the trees, the grasses, the stream, paths, things like that, that may help you in your painting, I've got a playlist and it'll pop up in the corner right about now. There we go, a couple of details down in the foreground and we've cracked it, folks. If this has worked out for you, please let me know down in the comments and even share with us your compositions. I'd love to see what you guys are painting. Remember to hit that like button, subscribe and check out channel memberships. So until next time, take care of yourself, stay safe, happy days.